Alright, hey guys, my name is Virus and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at a different game. Now you may have heard of it before. It's called World of Warships, and this is my second favorite game. First obviously being War Thunder, second being this. War Thunder and this game are like two of probably the best games like for me, because I love World War II. I love all the history around it. I love boats and like warships and stuff like that, and I love tanks. So literally, this like hearing the news that War Thunder was adding warships to their game. I don't. The happiness I felt for it was immense, you could say. But I actually got access to the closed beta for the War Thunder Naval Forces as well, so I've been playing a little bit of that. Probably make a video on it soon. But yeah, today the ship we're going to be playing in is the Tier 6 German cruiser, the Nürnberg. And this thing... oh, by the way, you'll also notice a lot in this replay. For some reason, I think the current version of the game is bugged, or it's a mod I have installed. But the replay sort of, like, some of the ships will jump around when they're first spotted, and teleport and stuff like that, so you'll just have to bear with that. It's not, like, too impeding on the gameplay, but it's not, that never happened in the actual game, it's just a replay bug. But yeah, the Nürnberg. So this thing is basically the lightest of light cruisers. I wouldn't be I wouldn't be surprised if War Thunder actually added this ship, because it is a light cruiser, and it's got triple turrets. I think they're 152s or 155s. It might be 152 millimeter calibers of shells. So basically, really light shells, but you spit them out so fast. Like, I think it's like a 6-second reload on this thing, which you can get even lower if you have the right crew skills. So I know I've heard a lot of people hate on this ship just because it's literally made of paper, and every time you get hit by a huge battleship shell, it usually ends up getting, you know, or hitting your citadel, and then you lose a third of your HP in one shell. So like it takes some getting used to. This is probably one of my favorite German cruisers so far. I mean, I'm only tier 6, but I do have the tier 7, the York, I believe it's called. I have that, and honestly I prefer this drastically. There you can see the jittering, because the destroyer was just spotted. But yeah, I adore this ship. I don't know what I think it's like the risk and reward kind of like gameplay style behind it. Like, just being made of paper and knowing that, like, if you get shot you're probably dead. It just makes the gameplay so much better, because the people who know how to use this ship will excel. There's no doubt about it. They will excel and do great in it. Like, I can do alright. In this game I get a pretty high damage game for, I think it's a tier 5, tier 5 to 7 game. I could be wrong. So the damage I get is actually pretty good. But the way you play this ship is you just sit back. You have a huge range of 16.5 kilometers. So you can just sit back and snipe. There, that was a little bit of lag, by the way. I did actually hit that guy pretty cleanly on my screen. But just because he was jittering, you know. But there we go. We're already on 2 kills. And we're doing pretty well. I'm going to try and see if I can start burning down this Normandy a little bit. So maybe I can get a fire on him. And then, you know, that's some damage that I'll have to take into consideration and go back and heal maybe. So that'll take him out of the fight if I do get a fire. But he is reaching pretty much the maximum range. And as you can see, these shells are very, very light. They float a lot, and it takes a very long time to get there. I think the timer beside my reticle says 12.5 seconds, I believe, which is really long compared to my Russian railguns that I'm used to. Going from my Moskva to this thing is like a night and day difference in shell speed and trajectory. But part of me enjoys this because you can sit behind islands, and you'll see that a little bit later in this replay. You can just sit behind islands and lob shells over them, and no one can return fire because they don't have the arcs that you do. Obviously, there are American cruisers that have very high gun arcs, and like their shells are also very light. But it's just like I don't know, there's something about the German high explosive that I enjoy. I think it does, um, I'm not sure, there's something different about it compared to all the other high explosives in the game. I don't know if it does more damage. I'm not entirely sure. Here I switched to AP to try and get some Citadel hits on the Omaha over there. Um, but unfortunately, just because these shells are so light and they don't travel super quick, we're not able to actually hit him because he's going a little bit too quick and the island got in our way. Now, here is where I switch back to high explosive. And this poor Colorado, he's on full HP. And he's just sort of chilling in the back of his spawn. And we're just gonna, you know, put our ship full stop, just park here, and start raining down hell on this guy. And honestly, I don't think he enjoys it very much, or he won't enjoy it at least. But you can just see how this rate of fire just really just burns down ships and melts HP. Like, if you can land a lot of shells, you have a good fire chance. Obviously, with these being low caliber shells, or low caliber in like air quotes, you're not going to have a super high fire chance compared to like the Japanese 203mm shells, which have like crazy, it's like 15%. I don't know what the fire chance on these are, but it's relatively high considering how quickly I'm able to set ships on fire. And also, those are deep water torpedoes, so I know that the Fusion, I don't know how to pronounce it, it's Pan-Asian destroyer, they have deep water torpedoes, and they are very, very hard to detect. So I pop my hydroacoustic search here, just in case there's, because I only saw that one torpedo, so I don't know if there's another set coming towards me, because it has 2 sets of 3. So I pop my hydro just in case, because they do a lot of damage, and you don't spot them till it's too late most of the time. The Colorado gets unspotted. I was hoping that my fighter plane would go around and spot him, but unfortunately it's like right behind me, so it's not close enough to see the Colorado. But he pops back up, and actually, if you notice behind us on the minimap, if you were paying attention, you'll know that there's a Minsk spotted behind us, and that guy could prove to be difficult. Now here I should have been dead. I don't know if he was reloading or what he was doing, but I should be dead here. Just the fact that I'm giving full broadside and giving him a nice juicy target and he didn't shoot at me. I mean, and he's firing AP too. I would have been dead. And I don't know, he just didn't shoot me. The Fusion pops up and smokes up, and I think he's going to start launching either torpedoes or shooting at the Scharnhorst that's pushing up with me. And unfortunately, I would have loved to help that Scharnhorst, but I can't push up. This ship is not a good aggressive ship. You really just can't be aggressive in it just because of the lack of armor and the huge citadel that it has. Like, you will get destroyed, especially charging a Colorado which has 16-inch guns. You don't want to charge him. So we're just going to kite backwards. We've pretty much burned this guy completely all the way down. Like, he's lost all of his HP. There's nothing he can do. He's 100% dead. There we go. We get an arsonist achievement too, which is like burning, I forget what it is, but it's burning a certain percentage of the enemy's HP. So he goes down from full HP, if you remember, all the way dead. And that's just because of the crazy rate of fire. We're already up to, I think that says 150 hits. And like, that's crazy. Only, what, 10 minutes into the battle? And we already have that many hits. Yeah, this ship is so much fun to play. But like I said, it does take some getting used to. Skipping on ahead here, we pretty much just sailed a little bit in a straight line. There are no enemies to be spotted, so I'm just going to skip ahead for you guys so it doesn't get too boring. Fusion gets spotted in their capture point, and the Minsk has actually traveled, instead of coming up behind us and getting a flank, he traveled all the way down to our capture point, which, in my opinion, was actually the smarter move. Unfortunately, our teammates were sort of hanging around in the middle. And also I don't know what's going on here. It's the combination of the replay bug and just him ramming into that wreck there. But yeah, this thing doesn't really deal with destroyers very well at long range, just simply because of these shells. So I do struggle to hit him there. And we turn our sights onto that Nelson, which does have a fire on it already, but there are still 3 other spots that we can set fires to on him. So we're gonna get to work on him, start trying to burn him down, and kill him off. because honestly the number one threat for this ship is battleships. Battleships will easily take you out of the battle in 2 or 3 salvos if you're not careful, and so you always want to try and focus destroyers and battleships. Cruisers are a threat, and also here this could have been terrible for us. I start turning out just in time, dodge most of his shells. We were giving full broadside there. I didn't actually think he would turn his guns and shoot at us instead of the battleships in front of me. But I don't blame him, we are being quite a pest. But here you can see again, we're just able to shoot over this island, and he can't return fire at all. And he's just going to burn down there, and there's not much we can do. A lot of what this ship is just switching back and forth between targets. And that really goes for a lot of cruisers, especially when you're surrounded by a lot of battleships. You just want to keep on setting fires on ships and switching back and forth. You don't need to focus on one because your shells don't do a lot of damage when they land. It's all about that fire damage. And if you can get damage over time on a lot of ships, you will rapidly climb up in the damage, department. Now, the Minsk is actually being chased down by our Scharnhorst. Thankfully, our Scharnhorst went back after I pinged the map and went and saved our cap. So, spoiler alert, that Minsk dies and Scharnhorst lives somehow. I mean, honestly, I don't really know how the Minsk didn't just charge the Scharnhorst and torpedo him, but then again, Scharnhorst has torps, really good secondaries, and those fast-firing guns, so yeah. So we're just gonna keep on shooting this Gneisenau, or Gneisenau? I don't know how to pronounce that either. There's so many different names in this. We're just gonna keep on spamming high explosive. We're still heading back to the cap, because at this point I thought, oh, well, the Sharn is definitely gonna die. We gotta support him, so we head back, and honestly, we just waste a little bit of time. By the time we, get there, he's dead. There we go. And yeah, so we skip ahead in the battle a little bit. And you'll notice that we're now being targeted by the enemy carrier. So I knew where those planes, if you look at what their planes are doing right now, you'll see that they're returning back. And if you pay attention to what direction the ships or the planes are returning, you can easily, guess where the enemy carrier is. So right now I know he's somewhere over by those islands. And he's probably heading south with his Normandy buddy, who is, I think, giving him an escort. Which, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but honestly, I think his team could have probably used the Normandy a little bit more than for anti-aircraft, especially since people don't really CV snipe at these lower tiers, or as much as higher tiers, so they don't really need escorts. I'm not entirely sure what the anti-aircraft rating on the Normandy is, if it's good, and there you can see 3 shells, 1 fire. We already got a fire on that guy, and so unless he repairs that, which he actually does. He repairs the first fire. That's something you never ever do in a battleship unless you know you're going to be undetected for a very long time, enough for your damage control party to come back online. But yeah, he repairs that first fire, and honestly, if he was on higher HP, I would have really appreciated it, because we're just going to keep on spamming him over and over again with these quick firing light shell caliber cruiser guns, and we're going to burn him. We're going to really burn him. And I just feel bad for this guy, because he repaired 1 fire, and this is what happens. We set 2 fires on him. Now he's double on fire, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so we're just gonna kite again. I don't want to draw too much attention to me. And there we go, Kraken unleashed. So that's 5 kills. You can see I put a yay in the chat. I'm pretty happy. And the planes, look at what direction they're coming from. So now he's definitely left those bottom islands, so we're going to head over there now. And we're just going to intercept that carrier, and we're going to try and get our 6th kill and boost our damage a little bit more. But pretty much the game's over now. We just go and chase this carrier. And yeah, so we just head over towards where this carrier is. He pops up, and honestly, there's nothing he can do. I've got a Scharnhorst, which has pretty good anti-aircraft ratings, I believe, and assuming he's, well, assuming, no. What's the word? I'm trying to think of the word. Basically, because he's on full health, he hasn't taken much damage. His anti-aircraft guns won't be, destroyed by any high explosive fire. We got a Confederate medal there, which is, I think, 20% to 4 ships or something like that. So we're getting around, and there's the high caliber as well. This was all in a paper ship that we didn't lose that much health in. It was like part luck from not getting shot at by the enemies. Um, so I guess I gotta thank them for that. The, he somehow dodges those torpedoes, by the way. I gotta give him props for that. And we picked that kill up. And yeah, so the last guy is the Fusion, who's on 3,000 health. And there's not much left that guy can do. The time eventually runs out. We get a win. And yeah, so here are the post-game stats. We make a good amount of money. I don't run premium either. Look at that base XP. That's nice. 6 kills, 2100 base XP. There's all our damage. Not a lot of fire damage, actually, but we did manage to get 136,000 damage in this. And look at those credits. This isn't a premium account. Remember that. I don't know what it is about this ship, but it makes bank. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know that's something a little bit different than the usual War Thunder content I post, but this is just sort of getting me warmed up for the War Thunder Naval Forces release, which hopefully will be coming very soon. Anyways, if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like. If you didn't, dislike. And yeah, see you in the next video, guys. Peace.